So I just hit record.
Okay. You are recording.
So something kind of cool happened today, dear listeners.
What was that cool thing?
We actually have an upgraded podcasting platform now.
Woohoo!
So that's pretty exciting.
Yes.
We now have learned a lot about audio.
Yes, we have.
And we are now recording on said new system. So that's pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm.
We can support up to having 4 people on our podcast.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, it's like a portable system now versus before we were using kind of connected to the laptop, to the MacBook, and it worked pretty well, but this will kind of allow us to take podcasting on the go as well. So we go different gyms, different places, we can kind of bring it with, even though it's still fantastic. We can talk over Zoom or phone calls, but this will kind of allow us to have a little better setup versus just the laptop interface. This is nice. But yeah, like Matt said, took a little legwork.
Yeah.
Lots of formatting.
We're 7 hours in.
Yes.
No.
But it's going to be worth it. So
yeah, this is pretty exciting. Okay. So before we dive into today's topic, oh shoot, I probably should have came up with a good primer. I didn't even think about it. I was hoping I could come up with one on the spot, but it didn't really come to me.
Like we kind of talked about a little bit last time as a little bit of an opener, but we do have tournaments coming up. Actually, no, we talked about closing last time about a tournament.
Yes,
so
that's a good.
It's fun.
I mean, the episode that didn't air.
Oh, that's true. That's right. The lost episode forever because we mixed up our microphone settings. So we do have a tournament coming up down in Wisconsin Dells, Grappling Industries. There is also one in Chicago, which is the ADCC US Chicago Open. I believe there's another one in Pleasant Prairie, but there's a lot going on in Wisconsin all in one weekend. So we're looking to make it. I know sometimes brown black belt divisions can be a little sparse, but Matt will be looking to compete in the old man division, in the Masters division.
Not the oldest man.
I know, but I was about to say old man.
But no, I'm not there yet. Still young.
Yes.
Still young, just not young, not old. I'm in that middle ground there.
We might have another student that might be interested as well, but kind of a cool platform. We've talked about the competition scene here and there, kind of how it is a good platform for someone to experience a different essence of jiu-jitsu. It's something interesting where you could be working at your studio, at your gym, rolling with people and have a good, solid 30-minute evening working and sparring, and then you go compete, and suddenly everything is just locked up and tight. You're exhausted after 4 or 5 minutes. So it's a different atmosphere that I think every jiu-jitsu person who is somewhat serious and keeps diving into the art should experience at least once, which is how everything kind of tightens up. And it's definitely an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, I'm getting more and more excited about it. I haven't looked in the last couple days, but funny enough, no one has signed up for my division though.
Really?
And I wonder if it's because the ADCC Open is at the same time.
Well, we were talking about that with Joey, of just having this space where I think a lot more serious competitors. Grappling Industries is fantastic. So I've been doing this for a long enough time where it's really good to have a organization that understands grapplers and organizes it pretty well, and it's very easy to access. They definitely have sometimes over 1,000 competitors, which can be pretty tight in one day. So you will see people having like matches at 10 o'clock at night from 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I really hope that I'm not one of those people.
No, and I think a lot of times
I'm
now
just giving up at that point if that happens. I'd rather sleep, honestly.
Maybe they'll fall asleep when you compete against them. They're just like yawning and you just take the choke.
Oh, here.
What's that?
I'm going to interject.
I'll go for it.
If this is correct on their website, 846 people have registered for the
what?
Wisconsin Dells
that can't be
round
right.
robin. Yeah, it says right here, 846. Look at that. 846. That's crazy. That doesn't seem right.
Why is that?
Unless that means something else.
Unless it might be a different event that you clicked on.
Wisconsin Dells.
That's
September.
Weird.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, that's normal registration. Yeah, no.
Well, it's funny because the last time I checked, it was like 300 some people, unless I missed the deadline.
I'm going to keep looking here. You keep stalling for a second.
We'll keep talking. So it's really good to have this kind of organization. Definitely like most organizations, there's always some hiccups. I mean, it's tough having refs work 8-10-hour days constantly with matches. And on top of watching for points and things like that, it can be really stressful. So most of the time what I have for people going to compete is obviously you want to feel like you perform and do well. But if you're especially new to jiu-jitsu, just use it as a way to dive into the pool of what jiu-jitsu feels like when it's a little bit more tense and tight. It's always nice if you do win something or win a gold medal, but it's more important to kind of feel where your strengths are and to feel like if you can actually pull off the things you're good at your gym. And it gets a little bit more tough because you can think of a competition scene as like a pyramid where the base of any jiu-jitsu competition, grappling competition is like white and blue belts. Those are like makes up the 80% of competitors. Obviously, you could throw kids in there as well, but makes up the 80%. And the last 20% starts getting more towards purple belts, brown belts, things like that. So I would say it's more difficult as a newer person to go to a competition scene and say, hey, my level of success is going to be winning gold. You get some divisions where it's like you're a male 170-pound white belt in the adult division. It's like you're having like 40 people in your division. So the chance of you getting gold can be pretty slim. Still can happen. It's still a great thing. I'm not going to say, well, set your hopes low, but in statistics wise, just go in there, do what you do best. And if you have that focus, then, gold might be in sight for you.
Here we go.
You found it?
Yeah.
Was it the right date?
I think so. I didn't check that. I was actually checking just masters because we're both in the masters category.
Oh, wait. So you're seeing your name there?
I searched masters.
Okay.
And assuming this is for the Dells, which is broadcast at the top.
Just as weird.
Their website's not exactly very user friendly. I'm gonna throw a little shade on them. That's my hot take.
Yeah, God.
But okay, so no gi male masters
Okay.
and seniors they have grouped together in this.
Yeah. Something seems weird that it jumped. Like I'm kidding you not. Like I swear yesterday or 2 days ago I checked and there was like 300 people. So to jump to 800, usually people do that when it's like 2 days or 3 days before end of early bird registration.
Which we're getting close to.
I guess so, but that's a huge jump.
Here we go. No gi adult. Okay. Here we go. Blue male. Oh, under 145. Nope. Under 155. Nope. Under one. Oh, hey, here we go. Okay. So no gi adult male blue. This isn't masters. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people signed up.
You only have 5 people in your division?
And that's not even my division. That's just males. Or the
males.
open. Yeah. So we have 5 guys there. If we go to, and that's for no-gi. If we keep going, here we go to masters, no-gi. Wait. There's 3 people.
Wow.
I better sign up.
That's pretty crazy.
Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Wrong weight class. Wait, 3 more. Hey. Oh, my God.
You got more people in your division? Or do you recognize someone?
Yeah.
You recognize someone?
Joel Ellenbecker is signed up.
Whoa, in your division?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know Joel did jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he does jiu-jitsu. He's a blue belt.
Rodrigo Vag.
Rodrigo Vaghi.
Okay, thank you.
In no-gi?
No-gi adult
what
blue
division?
masters, 185.
Mm.
Solid. That'll be interesting. Since there's only 4 of us, we will be all competing against each other.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
Nice.
I wonder what his game's like. Joel, if you're listening,
tell
me what your game's like.
Guess you'll find out. I think he hurt his knee not that long ago too. It was like some sort of MCL or something like that. But
do you want me to look for you?
No. The thing is, I just already searched.
No.
I searched already the brown belt divisions, and there's nothing. There's only one person who is brown/black belt in 170. So
there's one sub
no way I'm
215.
What's
you
that?
Could fight or wrestle
215.
Under 215. Masters brown black.
Where are you seeing 215?
Right here. No-gi male brown black masters 30.
Who's that?
Taylor Hartman.
Oh, I know Taylor Hartman. I know Taylor Hartman.
Taylor, if you're listening to this,
Taylor actually competed at our invitational.
Oh, Taylor, if you're listening to this, you may be versing Levi.
Where are you seeing that? That's weird. I've put a filter on for brown.
Yeah, I just typed in brown as well.
Okay.
See,
weird.
Exact case in point. Their website's kind of shoddy.
Oh, that is weird.
It's just like a list.
There is some people here. Anyways, yeah. So we're looking at competing. It's always good to kind of test our skills out. I am in the finishing stretch for achieving the rank of black belt, so I definitely wanted it as an outlet to kind of test on my skill sets and sharpen things up so that I get the thumbs up from Mr. Roy Dean himself to
Ooh,
keep moving forward.
Roy,
with
if you're
that.
listening,
So yes,
Levi's coming for you.
no, I'm planning on getting tapped only 4 times this time versus the 40 last time I got tapped, so I'll be okay. So yeah, what's our main core topic we were talking
All right.
today?
Well, now that we got our 10 minutes of banter out of the way.
Yes.
Okay, so our topic we were going to be talking about is drop-ins. Dropping in other
Drop-ins.
schools, things we look for when we drop in,
Mm-hmm.
things that we liked that we've seen when we dropped in at other schools, the value of dropping into other schools. Really, we can go a lot of different directions with this.
That's true.
I guess I'm going to ask you the first question,
Sure.
Levi. So, what do you have for memories when it comes to cool drop-ins that you've done at places that you've liked, and what are some things that stood out to you?
So probably my main place that I did most of my drop-ins with was Gracie, Milwaukee, down in Milwaukee. Go figure. Partially was because going into a new place in a new gym, you're never really entirely sure what their culture is like. So we've talked about that before of going, well, is this a place where maybe it's just a whole bunch of killers that you're just kind of fresh meat to them, or are they pretty chill? So I liked it because when I went into it, it was almost met the opposite reaction I thought, that everyone was like excited to work with someone new or someone outside. And I think when I started dropping in, I was dropping in as a purple belt. And at the time, I don't think their studio had many belts above blue.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, kind of like, ooh, a purple belt's kind of coming in. So it was interesting having that kind of response. There wasn't really too much from ego anyways, too. Like somebody wanted to like smash the purple belt, but it felt very collaborative in working with people. So it gave me a really good positive experience. I've definitely popped into schools as far as seminars are concerned. Sometimes that really wasn't too inviting. Like you just went to do your thing and it felt very cliquey. Like you're sort of an outsider, you're just here to do the seminar, and then people are already there talking with your own friends and groups and things like that. But coming as a drop-in, especially with Gracie Milwaukee, now I was already kind of part of their organization, their affiliation anyways, so it wasn't like something completely new. But it's still very inviting. Like, oh, hey, you're coming in, like making the trip. Like it was an hour and a half away from Appleton. So it felt pretty good. Apart from that, like I haven't really done too many drop-ins in too many locations. When I traveled to Denmark, so over in Europe, I went to one school.
Oh, that's cool.
And dropped in. That was when I was like super, super fresh blue belt.
Oh.
And that was, I did a lot of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu stuff, so it was mostly self-defense. So I remember just little memories of it.
Were they speaking English at all? So you were like, hey, I've got this? Or
yeah, they were speaking English, which was interesting because it was very easy. They could be speaking Danish, but the gym owners were really cool. Yeah, it was great. I haven't had any really terrible experiences when it comes to drop-ins. But I think honestly that is, we kind of talked about it a little bit, like I am also kind of picking and choosing my places. And part of it is that it's easier for me to go drop in at a studio if I like know somebody who trains there, or I know the coach from either just a separate event that we were at, or
it's like going to a party, or like, or you've got like one person that you're like, at least like the anchor or like the buoy in the sea, where you can be like, I know this guy, Well,
and then you can utilize that as a way to start connecting with other people. And now you're like rolling and sparring other people. And then it's like, oh, hey, such and such. So when you leave there, now you have another 3 or 4 connections. So when you come back, they're like, oh, hey, nice to see you again. Like you build a good little camaraderie of a community with it. So have you dropped in any other places?
Actually, yeah, I used to drop in a lot more. Before I jump into that, here's something you should make, Levi. This is a shout out for everyone in the, Appleton-ish area.
Sure.
The Friendly Drop-In Coalition,
the Friendly Drop-In,
where you guys work together to try to like, you give approved drop-ins to each other. Essentially, like, because the culture of the studio is a reflection of the culture of the person running the studio, right?
Makes sense.
And some studios are going to have really good drop-in vibes, and some are not.
Yeah.
And so it'd be cool to have a place that goes, hey, you like our vibe, check out these other schools. We're not affiliated, but they are, an hour out or 2 hours out, and so on and so forth. And this would be a place that I think you would have fun dropping in on, you know, just
Makes
because like then
sense.
it gives people kind of an extension, right? So it's just kind of a random idea, but it'd be kind of cool.
The hard part, I think, sometimes with that, when people kind of give the thumbs up, is that there are people who have their own perception of what they feel is a good school.
That's true.
That's the hard part. So every
Yeah.
time I've heard that idea, I was kind of like, I mean, I've heard that over 10 years of people like, there should be like a website that kind of gives you a thumbs
Like
up
a
of
Yelp.
like, what's a safe place to go train
Funny
jiu-jitsu?
Yelp.
Yelp it.
Tap. You should call it tap.
Yelp sounds like a bad one
Yeah.
for jiu-jitsu. Should be the opposite of Yelp.
Grunt.
Like, that's hilarious. But honestly, I think the best way, if people are looking for drop-ins, I know we could probably dive into the subject a little bit, but it's just Google reviews is the best. If you have no clue what a studio is like, if you don't have any connections there, Google reviews is a big one.
The pictures too. I'll admit. So to answer your question, by
Yep,
the way, on the
keep
do I
going.
drop in?
Yep.
So I used to drop in a lot to a couple of schools in the area. Part of it's because I was just when I was really new to jiu-jitsu, I was really excited about it, want to try different places.
Mhm.
And then the other part is my friend who ran the school I was at the time, he had like 3 classes a week. And so sometimes I was like, hey, let's go do some other classes. And he'd come with me. I'd go with him to some places too. There were some that were small and kind of cliquey, but like everybody was pretty warm once you actually like talk to them.
Mhm.
So, but really, I guess I've never had a bad drop-in experience, really. Everybody's been really nice. And it's just the level of like how engaged everybody is with the new person, right? Some places go, hi, nice to meet you. They shake your hand, you get to know them. And it seems like they're happy that you're there. And then some schools are a little bit more like standoffish about it,
Mhm.
you know, and I just think that's a lack of social skills sometimes. But, you know, like,
It is weird because I think a lot of it, when it comes to a culture of a school, gets led by the main coach.
mhm.
And so it's just having someone drop in, like if you're not already being warm and inviting and at least talking and communicating, it's very easy to kind of just let it go by. On top of that subject, when we say about the inviting nature of a school, it is interesting because if a school, even in its aesthetic, seems inviting too, like it
Mhm.
doesn't seem too dark or unkept is probably a good word for it. That sometimes can give a good indicator. Does it seem like they're open to brand new people kind of jumping in and saying hi and really catering towards beginners? Or do they seem like, well, you're coming here and either you like the experience or not, but it's not really our main concern. We're
Mhm.
here doing grappling or jiu-jitsu, and if for some reason you align with it, well, cool, here's the sign-up sheet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're not really in the business of trying to connect and work with people. But yeah, so looking at things like Google reviews is a big one.
Mhm. Pictures. The
Pictures is a
pictures,
big
that's
one.
something I do look at.
Mhm.
Schedule. Is
Yep.
it easy to find their schedule?
Yep.
Does their website look like a piece of crap?
Yep.
Sorry for those who do. But like for reals, you're getting judged, right? Like you are judging somebody by their website, how clean, up to date it is,
Yep.
how easy it is to book a drop in.
I was just going to mention that. I think there's a lot of websites that will give generic information about programs, which is great. You know, they want to get someone to come in and try classes. Like a lot of schools have some semblance of doing that. The problem is that most grappling schools, like I'm so surprised that they don't either acknowledge the part of our culture, which is drop-ins.
hmm
Like you don't have too many other places that have things like, hey, I'm in the area. I want to just come and play for a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Imagine you do that for like volleyball.
Volleyball,
You know, like, hey,
I
yeah,
just
come
want
on
to drop
in.
in and play a game or something. Like you don't
Shoot
see
some
it too
hoops.
often. So I'm always curious, like how schools, you know, in general handle that, because if I ever were checking out a website, there's nothing even like separate to say, hey, are you dropping in the area? Like, are you looking at our website because you're interested in getting a class or two in while you're here for work or
Yeah.
whatever the case may be?
Oh,
And to say like, okay, now you click that and go, hey, this is what we do. If you're visiting, click this link, have these very easy go instructions. I've already gotten 2 or 3 people that have stopped at the studio that have gone out of their way to mention how easy it was to set up drop-ins
yeah.
just to pop in
We
versus
we
like,
we get a lot of cool drop-ins at the studio.
oh,
Like
it's really cool. I
really
mean,
neat.
and I think a lot of that is aligned with that kind of stuff. I don't find I can't remember the last time I had anyone reach out to me separately and say, do you guys do drop-ins?
Hmm.
Like every single person that I've had come in has gone through our drop-in process. And so I know ahead of time, if there's someone new in our class, I can see their stats and they said, hey, I'm a drop-in.
Nice.
So I already know ahead of time, like, oh, someone's visiting. That way I don't have to bore them with any sort of, pitch or to talk about becoming a new member or anything like that. So come in, just experience the school,
I have a cool idea, Levi.
Yeah.
This would be awesome. So for those listening, I travel a lot for work, and I do look at like a lot of schools. Usually I don't end up dropping in just because it doesn't work scheduling wise. But what I would love to see, and I think this other people would like this too, on your website, obviously a lot of people have like drop-in spots now. I shouldn't say a lot. Some do.
Mhm.
What if you had a little 2-minute video that said, hi, this is Theory of Jiu-Jitsu. This is
Mhm.
what it looks like. We love drop-ins. Why do we like drop-ins? Because we think it's a great way to share the art. Here's how it's going. And here's some things you would just want to know. Please come and join our class,
Mhm.
right? Because then people are really open to the idea. They know that they're not like imposing. Because I dropped in on some places in Minnesota and I tried to pay the head instructor, and he's a super nice guy. He was like, no big deal. But funny enough, the person at the front of the desk was like, yep, it costs $20 or whatever.
Interesting.
So there was like a disconnect there, and the head instructor was just being a cool guy. But it's nice to have some type of formality,
right,
just already out of the gates, and also knowing that you're welcome.
So I think for websites, and especially for business owners, you should just have a clear process so that whether you're the owner or someone's front desk, you know exactly what people are going to expect when they come in for a drop-in. Even if for some reason, I've had 1 or 2 people just pop in, just come in, they saw the schedule, and maybe they didn't see anything about the drop-in and said, hey, I'm here for a class. And I would go, oh, are you someone who's looking to sign up, or do you have previous experience, like you're just here for a drop-in? And they're like, oh, I'm just visiting the area. Go, cool, fantastic. Sign the waiver. Come on in.
You do something cool at your school that I like.
What's that?
That you have the punch cards too.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are revisiting and whatnot, no, this isn't just meant to be a commercial for Theory, but that's actually really cool, right?
Yes.
Because it's a lot of schools will do one free drop-in, and you're like, wow, that was great.
Yeah.
How do I come back again in 4 months when I'm happen to be in town?
Yeah.
Being like, oh, we've got a 5 or 10 punch card, or here's your per drop-in, like having clear understanding of what that looks like.
Yeah, it's almost like I had a guy come in that he was in the area because of EAA. And then this next year now, he popped in again for another drop-in. I feel like if it's some huge time difference, like it's over a year,
one per year, you get it free.
I don't mind people 1 per year like popping in, because obviously they're in the area for something specific or work related or whatever the case may be, and they want to come in. But obviously, if they're wanting to do a little more training, then yeah, like Matt was saying, we have punch cards so that people could come in. It's a little bit more sporadic in that sense, but you just want the place that it is a real part of the culture. So I guess this is why it's such an interesting topic, because people travel for work, they travel for vacation, and you're sitting there at the resort or you're sitting there at the hotel and you're going, oh, I want to get my jiu-jitsu on. I want to do something.
What I really need right now on this vacation.
You do the whole day.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Exactly. I get my fix. But like you have your whole day, and in the end you go, oh, what place is 5-10 miles from here that I can go? So then you pop on Google and you're like, jiu-jitsu near me, or whatever the case may be. And what do?
You start looking at reviews.
It's like I said, you take a look. Google reviews is already kind of gives you a quick view, and it doesn't mean exactly like they have to be 5 stars or top level.
So what do you look for?
So if I was visiting an area and I was looking for a drop-in, I think I'm a little biased or a little out of a normal person, because I'm so familiar with affiliations. So a lot of times I have an idea of like, oh, this is Gracie Barra, this is 10th Planet. Like I already have an understanding of some places at certain calibers. So I'm like, oh, there's a 10th Planet school near me. Like that would be fantastic to pop in and get that vibe or that culture. But if there's no places that I can really recognize, the first thing I kind of see is just like a level of establishment. So obviously if there's someone like 50 stars or higher, that has something, it kind of sucks because you're only there for a limited time. So it's kind of like, ooh, this school that might not have too much of a public face, but they might have actually a really good culture. And it's like, sorry, I'm not going to have the time to pop into all these different schools. Like maybe if you have a time span, you're like, you're here for 3 or 4 days, like
get your free class at everyone.
Get your free classes on each one.
Start
like
making
I get it.
A loop around.
So I would say like something somewhat established, at least 50 plus reviews. But then I get really picky and I go on their website. And just like we talked about, if I go on the website and it's like unusable, if you have to make me call you to figure out if you have a drop-in or not, like I probably won't go.
Yeah,
Unless you're like super well established and you have this like huge repertoire behind you, like, I don't know, whatever big name you want, then maybe I'll still go.
Or maybe if the website says to call,
Something like
something
that.
like
But
that.
it's like, you have to be very kind of clear with the drop-in type stuff. But if their website looks pretty organized, a lot of it for me feels like they take it very professionally. Like it's not just some little side thing they do that, cool, we have some spare mats and we just train jiu-jitsu. If it looks like they take heed of, bringing in new people and having a good face and good presentation, I'll bias towards that. And then like Matt was saying before, like looking at schedules, they should have something very straightforward. The problem is there's a lot of marketing angles these days where, you have to contact them in order to get schedules and get all this information too. So again, that makes it difficult for us as drop-ins because we already sold on jiu-jitsu, but we're not going to be in the area for a membership. So it's like I have to do all this extra legwork just to, get a class in. The problem is that there's a lot of schools that, they obviously don't base their income and their livelihood off of drop-ins, but I think it helps with kind of helping out elevate the jiu-jitsu community. Like you're providing a space like we talk about with open mats.
Yeah.
Like you're providing a space to say, hey, you're a fan of jiu-jitsu and you're visiting, cool, stop by, get a quick class and have a good time and we'll see you later. I find that builds way more camaraderie and connections with people across the world. Like you're friending people on Facebook or you've got just connections elsewhere that come from literally just having one person pop in for a class. Like, oh, hey, I remember you. Like, thanks for coming in. Like it kind of builds your network if you're really wanting to expand jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. Plus you seriously, the value of a drop-in is really awesome. Right. And dropping in too.
Yep.
Like, so, Levi and I dropped in today.
Yes.
Over at Manitowoc Jiu-Jitsu. Shout out to the team over there.
Oh, like, so good.
Super cool. Everybody there, super friendly, super nice.
Yes.
It was well, organized and everything like that.
Yeah, Joey and his team had come to the grappling invitationals that I host at my studio, and they've always had a really solid team, not just top caliber jiu-jitsu, but just their personas or their temperaments, like they're really chill and easygoing people. Like they didn't seem like they were harshly competitive and just left right away or something like that. Like they were really super chill.
Solid crew.
As I was thinking like, well, I want some opportunities to get some more grappling in with some new students. I'm like, hey, Manitowoc Jiu-Jitsu, like they're 50 minutes away from us. Like we could just pop over and have a good morning. And we did.
Yeah,
so
it was
Joey
awesome.
And his crew was fantastic. So we'll definitely be looking to pop in. But that's a good example to say when people even ask to say, hey, you hear this all the time everywhere. Like I'll see this on Reddit and be like, hey, I'm in Boston for the night. Like, where's a good place to go do jiu-jitsu?
Oh, I could see in big cities it being a little tougher too, because there's like 15 options, you know?
And then the hard part is that you get like kind of upvotes. So someone says, hey, you should stop at Freeform Jiu-Jitsu or 10 Planet. And then usually like the most upvotes, like you'll probably go like, well, a lot of people are recommending this studio that you can pop in. But it's tough. Like I said, I think majority for me, even though I've been in grappling a long time, it should feel friendly.
Yeah, why not?
It should feel like an inviting environment, unless you just know like what you're stepping into is maybe a more intense environment.
Even you can still have intensity and friendliness, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I say that as far as like maybe more of our focus is saying the 80% who are listening that might be white or blue belts, to say like, hey, I'm new and I want to stop at someplace. So like we mentioned, I think the big thing first is Google reviews. And don't just take the reviews, but dive a little bit into some of the comments. If people are pushing things like great environment, very friendly, very safe, things like that, like those are good keywords to look for.
Clean.
Yep.
Clean.
Cleanliness.
When I walk into a school and I see that they have cleanliness standards written on the wall, like today we did.
Yep.
I was like, that is awesome. I love that.
Those are things that you're taking really super important care about the experience that people are having at your studio.
Yeah. No shoes in the bathroom.
No shoes in the bathroom.
Right? I love seeing those signs.
So,
shoes in the bathroom. No bare feet.
Oh, no bare feet.
I said that backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of focus that schools should be having these days, as far as like they're taking extra effort to think about the secondary things that are happening at a school versus just, oh, we have some mats and we do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So businesses,
professional experience.
and, so that was a great point. Like I was going to say that having like a business feel to it.
Yeah.
It should feel like this is an establishment. This is a business. This isn't just like Joe's Jiu-Jitsu that we have a couple old wrestling mats and we just get together a couple times a week and we roll.
Which I guess that's cool if that's not what somebody wants,
It's
but
fine. It's just sometimes that mentality on average would be a little bit more like harsh that we just kind of go, and maybe that cannot always be the case, but it's just hard when someone's new and wanting to come in. It's like, if it's too much of a casual approach, sometimes it can be a little interesting.
I got a way to think about this.
Yeah.
Are you running a business or are you and your buddies getting together to do some jujitsu? Right? Like they can be both, but like really, if you're on Google, you've got reviews, you've got a website, you're a business. And in that case, you should make it really clear and easy and safe and healthy for people to be able to do drop-ins.
On top of that, if you do not have any website experience, like website creation experience, it's worth the investment of talking to a friend or talking to a relative and finding someone that is somewhat savvy in, creating a website.
It's so easy.
And now it's so easy, but it's saying
you don't
like
even have to know how to code.
there's things like Wix that has like basic website creation stuff or some other websites.
Yeah,
but if for some reason you're like, I am just
Squarespace or
Squarespace is a good one.
Whatever.
But if you're so hands off, you're like, I just do jiu-jitsu. I don't know how to do this. You have to take the investment and reach out to friends and say, hey, I'm running a jiu-jitsu school. I'm looking to get a website and even social media stuff. Like, can anybody help me out with this? I'll gladly compensate. So it's worth its weight in gold because it's something that it's a strong necessity of just at least communicating. It doesn't have to be the prettiest, but you have to be able to communicate, like Matt was saying before, very plainly. You should have someone who's brand new to jiu-jitsu or brand new to anything and look at your website and understand very clearly how to get things done. And if you don't have that, if you have people coming in and they're just lost navigating your site and you're saying all the things about your studio, but they're like, okay, how do I start my first class?
Yeah.
How do I
also
come in for a drop-in?
If you're walking into a school and somebody's not greeting you, not a professional establishment, like, right. If you filled out a form, they know you're coming. They know what time you're literally showing up.
Right.
They don't go, hey, Levi, nice to meet you. My name is Bob or whatever, like that is, I think, another interesting thing between the pros versus the the people who are still developing as business owners.
And the pros is saying that you want to make an income teaching jiu-jitsu. So if someone's coming in and looking to possibly try out your classes and sign up, why wouldn't you at least be friendly and inviting right away? To be like, hey, welcome to our place. Like, I'll show you around, tell you about our studio, or have a good time. It's usually those people that are just having the space to do jiu-jitsu and they're not looking to try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, try to like blow things up a little bit. Like, they're not trying to like be their friend kind of thing. They're like, this is what we do. If you want to do this, like, then cool. Then, you can give me your money. It's like, that's what it is. It's like, but versus someone going, hey, I need to, like going on a first date, like you need to kind of tidy yourself up a little bit and being like, hey, you're putting your best foot forward because someone's willing to help fund your endeavor.
It's an interview
right now. Yeah, it is an interview.
It's an interview.
You have to look good and feel good. It doesn't mean you have to be inauthentic, but it helps to be authentic and be great. But the same thing like with this theme right now of these drop-ins, that helps permeate other people to say, hey, I stopped in at this place. They have a great energy. I was, I felt very welcome the whole time. And I'm definitely going to stop in again, if I'm in the area in the future. And so even if someone comes and looks at that and says, oh my gosh, like, I'm just want to come here to train jiu-jitsu normally. And there's people who are stopping in who also are fans of jiu-jitsu and say, hey, I had a great, fantastic time here. Like, anyone who's in the area should check it out. That boosts those numbers, right? So having easy drop-ins, because just like we talked about, drop-ins are people who are already sold on jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
They just are in the area and they said, hey, I need my jiu-jitsu fix.
You might learn something cool from them too.
Well, and this is the cool part. Like, you might find 2 or 3 people, like we mentioned.
Your jiu-jitsu won't be worse.
Connect with, it's like, if you're a fan of this sport, that why not keep spreading your connections and the people that you know? It's like, it's worth its weight. So
nice.
So what's our focus? I mean, we can kind of wrap this up a little bit because I think we have a couple planned stuff to go. So
for sure,
big thing is doing a quick Google search, right?
Yep. So actually here, can I rewind a little bit?
Go for it.
Okay. So first, let's talk about, remember we were recapping the value of a drop-in, right? Dropping in is awesome.
Yes.
Dropping in is awesome because one, you get to learn things when you go drop in other schools.
Yep.
You get to, expand your experience.
Different
You
styles.
get to meet new people. You might meet new friends, which is really cool.
That's what you
Jiu-Jitsu
need.
has an amazing ability that you are bridging so many kind of social norms all very quickly.
Yes.
So Jiu-Jitsu makes fast friends, because you're literally
You're
sweating.
claustrophobic.
Yeah, you're sweating on each
with
other.
each other.
You're grabbing each other.
Yes.
It's just, think about how many friends you have you've never touched, versus
Yes.
Jiu-Jitsu. Within the first 5 seconds, you're like,
Hey,
well,
nice to meet you.
time to strangle
Hang
each
on top.
other.
Yes.
So there's a huge value there. It's awesome. And then the other thing is when people drop into your school, you get to be the recipient of that too, of this new person. You get to see their new moves, roles, things like that.
Yep.
Because a lot of people don't realize the ruts they end up carving for themselves in their own game against their same training partners over and over again.
Students get exposed to new styles.
Yeah,
styles
for
of
sure.
people.
Like weird things where you knee shields you never thought of, things like that might be typical at that school. And now you can take that information and bring it back. I would say massive increase to your learning ability. So we got the learning, we got the friendship, right? So there's many different cool things there.
Benefits.
Part of just living life, getting out there, doing things.
Yep.
Okay, so that's the value of doing a drop-in.
Value, yes.
When we're looking for drop-ins, what we say, Google reviews.
That's a big one right away. So just seeing if it's, at least someone established.
Yeah.
At least that people are like willing
Sorry,
to go
new
out and say
people.
the things. Well, it's fine. I mean, I was there. I was there for a year and a half and starting new, and it's like, it's fine. I'm not expecting people to drop in right away, but it's the eventual goal to build. It's having that first impression right away. Second thing is how user-friendly their website is in order to set up.
Less clicks.
Less clicks. You want to be things...
Autofields.
Very direct. So if it feels very easy to say, here's how you drop in. Here's our calendar. We can't wait to have you at the studio.
Yep.
And then the third thing is, obviously, now that you drop in, if you want to continue coming to that place or to recommend other people, if they seem very friendly, inviting, if all the students seem very warm and inviting, like that's a great space and experience for people to do their drop-ins.
Another thing I look for?
Yes.
On the photos, not just pictures of the school and stuff like that, because you're kind of like, unless you built your own building, which many do not, right? Because that's a huge cost. So I try not to judge them by like how their building is, as far as like the things they can control versus the things they can't, right?
Yeah.
But I also look for people having fun and smiling in the photos. People are like being silly, things like that, versus like if everybody's standing there with their arms crossed with a scowl on their face, it's like, yeah, this place probably takes itself too serious.
So that's probably something similar to where some people take jiu-jitsu and make it more of a warriorship thing.
Yeah.
We're like killers and this is not for everybody and we're special and unique. And
versus the gentleman assassins.
Faces. Yeah, exactly. But it's...
Thinking about that shirt.
I think because like Craig Jones talked about that, saying it's just kind of how silly this all is. Like we're just like grown adults grappling with each other. And sometimes you kind of have to take off that serious tone with it. So just like Matt said, I think if the website itself comes off relaxed and people are having fun and
smiles.
Chill,
look for smiles.
You probably will get people who are very similar in person. So
yeah,
definitely check people out. I encourage it. It also, as myself as a studio owner, helps when people come in and they have a good time and they leave a word or two of their experience. It helps just draw in more people to have that same experience.
Yes.
Helps a lot.
Always do a review when you're dropping.
And then
we got to write reviews for where we dropped in today too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, we did.
I like that idea.
We should do that.
We'll do that. And then the flip end, studio owners, drop-ins are a key culture point of jiu-jitsu itself. People are navigating this world more and more each day, stopping it for work, family encounters. You have evenings completely free that they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They want to do jiu-jitsu. Give them a space to do jiu-jitsu.
Make it easy.
And they will reward you in kind. It's such a great benefit. So
boom.
Cool.
All right. So just because our last podcast didn't end up airing due to our technical issues.
Right.
So a few updates. We do have an Instagram, right? What is it?
The Grappling Podcast.
The Grappling Podcast. Also, Grappling Podcast is now on Xbox Live.
Yeah, Xbox Live, that's right.
Xbox Live. If you'd like to play Sea of Thieves with the Grappling Podcast crew, actually really just me most of the time, Grapple Pod.
I should look there for PlayStation.
Or you could do Grapple Pod or I don't know. We'd have to come up
how
with.
the
We could
names
have
are.
2 different
Yeah.
names, and then you could play Sea of Thieves.
Grap Pop.
Come join our crew of scallywags
That's
on
hilarious.
Sea of Thieves.
That's fantastic.
Start doing promos on it.
And we have thegrapplingpodcast.com. So if you're not on it already, it shows a lot of links. We're on YouTube as well. So basically any major media outlet, you could probably find us on there. Subscribe. We got a couple more episodes coming your way, and we will be looking forward soon to interviewing a few key players in the jiu-jitsu community, and just keep rolling. All right. We will catch everyone later.